right, in the interest of time, we are going to begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to CSML Speaker Series. This is Dr. Leila Naderi, Director of Partnership Development at Alliant International University. Thank you for joining us, and I really hope all of you and your loved ones are safe and well. Have you ever wondered if successful people know something you don't? In this webinar series, experts will explore innovative approaches used by successful people around the world and share business and networking strategies you can adopt to increase your success at work and education as well. So before I announce the agenda today, I would like to inform you that we are recording this webinar, and you will also have the chance of submitting your questions through a Q&A box on the webinar. Our speaker will respond to your questions towards the end of her talk. So for agenda today, Dr. Rachna Kumar, Dean of California School of Management and Leadership, will begin with a brief introduction to Alliant and the California School of Management and Leadership. She will introduce our speaker, JoAnnn Klinedinst, VP of Healthcare Information and Management System Society, HIMSS, to begin her talk about the many facets of continuing professional development. After that, we will have Q&A, and towards the end, we will wrap up the session with final notes. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Rachna Kumar, Dean of California School of Management and Leadership. Dr. Kumar?
Thank you, Dr. Naderi, and welcome to everyone to this webinar hour. I'm looking forward to listening to the speaker, and give me a couple of minutes before I introduce our speaker. As Dr. Naderi said, I am the Dean for California School of Management and Leadership. I've been in Alliant for quite a while. I had moved to San Diego from New York University, and I'm an alumni of NYU. My background is in technology and systems, and I work with several startups in the technology and systems area. So this is very aligned with the topic that we are discussing today. Next slide, Dr. Naderi. Thank you. California School of Management and Leadership is proud to be one of the schools within Alliant International University. Alliant, we boast of having 110 years of history. We have been accredited by WASC, which is the golden standard of accreditation, for over 35 years. Alliant has 5 schools. We have Management and Leadership, which is our school, School of Psychology, School of Forensics, School of Law, and School of Education. CSML, which is a short form of our school, CSML offers programs in the management of tech and quant areas. We go all the way from bachelor's to master's and doctoral programs. We also have graduate certificates where students and participants can enroll in a certificate and do short-term 6-month certificates. But the nice thing is that these carry graduate units, graduate credits, which you can then take over into a degree program. We have ground programs as well as online programs. We have an MS in Data Analytics, MS in Information Systems and Technology, MS in Healthcare Analytics. And I will pause at the MS at Healthcare Analytics because this is the subject of today's talk. You see on the slide the logo of HIMSS. HIMSS is a partner with Alliant, and we are very, very excited and proud to welcome HIMSS as one of our partners. I will say a few words on HIMSS in the next slide. Just to finish the list of programs that we have bachelor's level programs, bachelor's in Information Systems and Technology, bachelor's in business administration. And we have MBA, which is a business administration program, a traditional one. We also have a DBA with a IT focus and a PhD in leadership. So the strategy is managing tech and quant, and healthcare analytics, which is the subject of today's talk, is a growing area, very popular area with students, with employers, as well as research skills. Next slide, please. Give me a minute to turn this off. My apologies. So here I want to welcome JoAnnn Klinedinst, and she is the Vice President of Professional Development at HIMSS. We are very, very fortunate to have JoAnnn for the next hour to share her experience and her deep expertise in the area that we're discussing today. Let me get to the next slide for an introduction to HIMSS. Thank you. HIMSS, H-I-M-S-S, stands for Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society. HIMSS is a global advisor in this area of healthcare analytics. I especially align with the mission of HIMSS, and the mission of HIMSS is reform the global health ecosystem through the power of IT, information and technology. Very aligned with CSML, very aligned with what is the future of healthcare, what is the future of healthcare IT, and so we are excited to be talking about that today. HIMSS is a global advisor and a thought leader which supports the transformation of the health ecosystem through information and technology. And so welcome to HIMSS, welcome to JoAnnn, and with that, I will hand over the next part to JoAnnn and to introduce herself and then give us her talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar and Dr. Naderi. It certainly is a pleasure for me to be here to join you in this very important webinar. I bring greetings from the HIMSS Executive Leadership Team and a special thank you to each of you for your participation and your support of HIMSS in the PI program. Again, my name is JoAnnn Klinedinst. I'm Vice President of Professional Development at HIMSS, and I bring to this talk almost 30 years of experience, which doesn't seem possible, but in April, April 2021, I will celebrate 30 years of membership within HIMSS, and that's 30 years of engagement in health information and technology. My responsibilities at HIMSS involve the developing strategies that contribute to lifelong learning, continuing engagement, as well as professional development for our more than 80,000 health information technology professionals. I'm a lifelong learner. I hold a master's degree in adult education from the Pennsylvania State University, and I have multiple certifications that I will be speaking about in just a little while. I also volunteer my time, and that is the whole realm of continuing professional development, not only the practice that I participate on a daily basis, but also volunteering to give back to the industry that has fulfilled me professionally for so many years. Next slide. And it's just an extreme pleasure once again for me to be here. And I want to personally thank Dr. Kumar and Dr. Naderi for preparing the CSML students to be not only job ready, but one in which they are provided with real world experience. And this is critical. Not only do you prepare the students from an academic perspective, but also from a practical perspective as well. And I thank each of you for doing that, because our industry is sorely in need of graduate students and leaders such as those that do graduate from CSML. Next slide, please. So I have a few things that I would like to step through with you. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about myself and my professional journey and how I ended up where I am today. And my journey along the way. We'll talk about continuing professional development, and we'll take a look at what academia defines CPT as, and we'll also look at some other definitions as well. And this is very important because we find that folks at times confuse some of the topics, but I want to help you to understand the true meaning of continuing professional development. And then I'll also talk a bit about HIMSS, but I've also provided some other organizations that are my professional societies. So HIMSS, yes, I am over 29 years of membership in HIMSS, but through my career, I have engaged with other professional societies and organizations, and each one of them have a very strategic component that has contributed to my success. And I hope to share those with you. And by the way, I love questions. Please ask any type of question that you would like, and I'll do my best to answer it. Next slide. So the summary for my talk today is to provide you with those tools and resources to help you not only thrive, but survive in an evolving global arena of organizational uncertainty. And boy, is it uncertain in today's environment. Next slide. So out of this talk, you can expect to review the benefits of a professional association. I'll touch on many of those. Identify ways you can engage with others, and there's no better way than really learning the essence of an industry, regardless of what that industry is, than to associate with others who have a like-minded presence as you do. And then finally, talk about steps along the way to maximize your professional potential. Next slide. So as I was preparing for this talk today, I identified my current activities from a professional development perspective. And I was quite surprised. This does look like a lot, but each one of these components is very important. Let me briefly explain what each of them are and how they contribute to my role, not only as at HIMSS, but my role as an executive within health information and technology. I'm a foundation board member with Grandview Health, where I contribute my health information and technology expertise to my local hospital. I also am a member of the external advisory committees for not only Temple University, but St. Joseph's University and Loyola University at Chicago, all for their health informatics programs. Loyola is for their undergraduate program, and Temple and St. Joe's are for their graduate programs. I'm also an accrediting member for CAMI. CAMI is the Commission on the the Commission on the Accreditation of Healthcare Management Education. So this is the accrediting body for MHA programs. And I actually have a site visit that we'll be conducting virtually here in a couple weeks. I also recently authored a chapter on preparing the workforce of the future for an upcoming nursing informatics textbook. It's actually the 5th edition, and it's a Springer textbook, and that will be released next summer. I've recently renewed my CP-HIMSS certification this past January, and my PMP certification I will renew in March of 2021. And these two certifications are very important. My first certification was with HIMSS. I was engaged in healthcare, and it was very important for me to demonstrate that I did have an understanding of that healthcare IT body of knowledge, which, oh, by the way, is very vast. So I earned that certification, and I have maintained that certification, and I've maintained that through my involvement with HIMSS and the many different opportunities that one can take advantage of in a professional society. And then I earned my PMP certification. That's the Project Management Professional Certification, and that's through the Project Management Institute. And I earned the PMP because I wanted to be sure to differentiate myself from healthcare. Even though I was serving as a project manager for the local hospital, community hospital where I worked, I wasn't sure if that was the industry I wanted to engage in long term. When I started working in healthcare, healthcare was not the place to be. Healthcare lacked funding, it wasn't cool, it didn't have the technology, but I thrived in a healthcare environment. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, whether you're in a big organization or a small community family practice. There's just a tremendous sense of family in healthcare. So I decided to stay, and boy, it is technologically advanced. It is really cool to be in healthcare, and I can't imagine being anywhere else. And then finally, we have the Handbook of Continuing Professional Development for the Health IT Professional. And I served as editor of this book, which actually was an inspiration through my master's thesis at Penn State University. There was no guide like it in the health IT space. I did find a guide similar in the biomedical informatics area, and then also rehab services. But it's at this point that I decided that this would be my topic. And then we created this book, and there was over 25 chapters of contributing authors. We're now in the process of updating this book. We have a second edition that's coming out, and that has been renamed the Handbook of Continuing Professional Development for the Health Informatics Professional. And that's because over those 3 years, we've seen the role, the titles change. We've added some additional content into this book. And oh, by the way, everything you see here is not a requirement for what I do. Everything you see here has a specific strategic advantage to my participation, and it's all volunteer. And some of it takes longer. Writing a chapter for a textbook, that was a very involved process. When you take, it's really a research paper is how I approached it. But my participation in other, with Temple and St. Joe's and CAMI, those are maybe twice a year. Actually, Loyola University's once a year, Temple's twice a year. So it's a small commitment of time, but the rewards are absolutely phenomenal. And the biggest challenge and opportunity, I should say, is doing a second edition of the book. And no one told me I needed to do this. I knew it was the right thing to do because the industry is changing so rapidly, and I wanted to make sure that those who were to follow me had a guide that was grounded in research and peer-reviewed information. So my advice to you is look around, identify what it is that you like to do, and get engaged, because your life will change both personally as well as professionally. Next slide. So these are some definitions. My next few slides are definitions of continuing professional development. And it is a personal responsibility. And you are accountable to your organization's success. Not only the organization as a whole, but its professional success as well. Next slide. This is my favorite definition, and I will read the whole definition. With this constant change and uncertainty, and yes, this quote is from 2012, but it's no truer then than it is today. With constant change and uncertainty, you are working in environments that are paradoxically stable and unstable, predictable and unpredictable, known and unknown, certain and uncertain, all at the same time. It's very, very powerful, and it's a very true statement, not only in the year 2020, but also in the year 2012. Next slide. So I've shared with you quite a few examples of continuing professional development, and each one of these examples are continuing professional development. So attending an in-person conference, teaching a course. Oh, by the way, that's one thing I do want to do, and I haven't done that yet. I do want to someday serve as an adjunct somewhere, but that's next on my list. You can facilitate a project and earning a professional certification. So these are just some typical examples, and there's many more. And the images that I'm providing to you are actual images from our HIMSS 19 conference, where we've taken photos of the many different participants doing many different things. So here's actually two emerging leaders who are on the exhibition floor reviewing some product literature. Next slide. Why should you participate? There are many reasons. Certainly the continuous need for innovation in our health sector is just so critical. And every time I attend a site visit with Cami, I am looking at and reviewing what excellent MHA programs are doing, and I learn from that. And it's critical that we all not only give back to the industry, but also learn from it as well. Also, another issue, complying as well as coping with regulatory burdens. And with the HITECH Act, that was very, very complex healthcare regulations, which took an entire industry to educate and learn from one another with those regulations. We all are competing for scarce resources that we need to contribute to increasingly complex projects. Also maintaining one's professional competency, as well as also diversifying one's skill set. And each of you may have additional reasons for why you choose to participate in continuing professional development. And I urge you to continue to think about that as I progress through my talk. Next slide. So now a little bit about HIMSS. Next slide, please. Our vision and mission are really synergistic. This has been updated. We introduced Hal Wolf 2 years ago, as actually it was September of 2017 as our CEO, and we went through an update of our vision and our mission. And our vision is to realize the full health potential of every human everywhere. And that is so critical because healthcare is global. We have some fascinating topics of professional papers that are presented at our global conference on what is occurring in Africa and how healthcare is being delivered globally to those in such need that many of us can't even imagine. And it's inspiring. It's professionally rewarding to hear how our industry is helping so many in so many places. And to realize this vision, we will together reform the global health ecosystem through the power of information and technology. You may be familiar with the term health IT. What Hal Wolf did, coming to HIMSS, he added the "and." By referring to health IT, you blurred together two of the most powerful things that can help contribute to the vision and the mission of HIMSS, and that's information and technology. So this vision and mission also contributes to our key success factors, and it's through everything that we do in our organization. And as a matter of fact, we are introducing an ethics statement to our professional certifications. We mention the importance of ethics that one takes in their role, but we're going to create a statement and actually that will be tied to the objectives of HIMSS. So not only do we as employees look at integrity and tenacity and curiosity, belonging, and simplicity. I almost missed simplicity, but we will use elements of those to ensure that health information and technology professionals who are certified can abide by elements of those items as well. Next slide. So our history, HIMSS was founded in 1961, and it was the Hospital Management Systems Society. And in 1993, it became the I was added to HMSS and it became HIMSS. So the information portion was added and the rest is history. Next slide. So HIMSS absolutely is leading change. And we have 5 strategies where we look at leading change. We look at membership, our thought leadership, the maturity models that we introduce into the industry to show an organization's progress along a scale. For example, for the paperless environment for electronic health records, we have one for supply chain and 7 others that demonstrate an organization's maturity in implementing technology. Our 4th key strategy is surrounding innovation, and I did mention the criticality a few moments ago about innovation and why engaging in continuing professional development is so important. And then finally, we're expanding our footprint internationally, and we did have a bit of international focus, but this has just mushroomed over the last 3 to 4 years, and we're so excited about it. And there's just so much that we can learn beyond the virtual walls of North America. So these are our 5 key strategies, and you will see that HIMSS is a leader in changing things to better the environment of healthcare. Next slide. So the role of a professional association, and again, I mentioned I would talk about HIMSS, but the organizations that you see on this screen, these are all my professional organizations. I had already mentioned the Project Management Institute. I'm also a member of ATD, which is the Association for Talent Development. And oh, by the way, I just sat for the CPTD, which is a certified professional in talent development. I just sat for that credential September 30th. So I'm waiting to hear my results of that. And that's another example. No one's forcing me to do this. I want to do it. I want to demonstrate that I have a command and a grasp of the talent development body of knowledge, which is vast. I thought health information and technology body of knowledge was big. And then I thought the project management body of knowledge was large. I think the talent development body of knowledge is even larger than either of those. And then the American College of Healthcare Executives, I'm board certified as a healthcare management executive. So that's another of my professional societies. And then finally, the PCMA, that's the Professional Convention Managers Association. And this is a group of meeting planners, those who plan conferences. And I kind of sort of tag along with meeting planners because I develop the education for our vast global conference. And that's one of the best organizations to belong to because meeting planners sure know how to have a good time. So, so from a professional development perspective, by engaging with a professional association, you can broaden your network, absolutely participate in many continuing professional development educational opportunities. Each of these organizations have an advocacy arm to help navigate through legislation that is pending. All the associations will ask for their members' feedback prior to submitting comments on legislation. These organizations, they all have career resources. They have job boards. You have the ability to enhance your mentor or mentee relationships. And then also you can become inspired and motivated. And my wish for my talk here today, if you take nothing else away, is for you to see and experience and understand how inspired I am personally and professionally to be engaged in an industry like health information and technology that is just so incredibly exciting. And this is my way of giving back. Next slide, please. Here's some reasons if you still need to be convinced about why engaging with a professional organization is so important. It's one thing to engage, it's another thing to actively engage through volunteering. And the willingness to work with others while making things better for others, personal and professional sense of accomplishment. And oh, by the way, all these other things happen too when you volunteer. You increase your self-esteem. You get to know other people that perhaps you may never have known. You build your networks. You can support an entire ecosystem, locally, regionally, nationally, and globally. You'll acquire new skills. And you really will know that you make a difference. It's just one of the best experiences you can ever have. And through CSML's participation in the HIMSS PI program, you have wonderful opportunities to become engaged. They're there for you to, for the asking and to take advantage of. Next slide, please. When you become involved, you also have an opportunity to advance through various stages of membership. One thing I did not note, I am a fellow of HIMSS, and that signifies that I have been engaged in the organization for at least five contiguous years. And I contributed through many different things that allowed me to accumulate points. So for example, I was a speaker at conference, I participated in task forces, I helped write white papers, those types of things. But it's a progression. So you begin as a senior member, and then as you accumulate points, you can move through the fellow status. And then in April of 2021, I will earn the Life Fellow status. And that's 30 years of consecutive membership, which again, it's like, where did 30 years go? It's just incredible. Many of these slides are hyperlinked, or they provide additional email addresses for you to ask more information or ask for information if you'd like. Next slide. So, member participation, and there's a real important date coming up because tomorrow, October 8th, we will have our annual call for participation, and that would be on committees or communities. So that's a great way to get involved. And if you miss this time or you're not sure, there's opportunities throughout the year to participate in work groups and task forces and other opportunities, again, to give back and make an impact in your corner of the world. I highlight member participation through chapters. So wherever you are in the world, there's a HIMSS chapter domestically in the United States, or a HIMSS community internationally outside of the United States. We have committees. We have about 17 different 17 different groups where we have committees doing various work. We have communities, not quite so many communities, but these are thousands of people belong. And we do roundtables, and then once again, member advancement. Next slide, please. We have virtual career fair. And oh, by the way, we have one coming up on Wednesday, October 21st. This is complimentary registration. And it's just fascinating. I love going to the career fairs. I pop in and out of the various booths. I listen to the education. Sometimes I deliver the education. Sometimes we don't have education and we just focus on the actual career environment. But HIMSS also has a job board, and I mentioned that that's definitely a benefit of professional societies. We call ours the HIMSS Job Mine, and I encourage you to take a look at that and really post your resumes, fill out a profile, and you can take a look at what's happening around the industry. And I also use the Job Mine to see what the latest trends in jobs are. So that helps keep me sharp as well. Next slide. And then we have our Learning Center. This is our HIMSS Learning Center, and this is where, if you're not able to attend conference, our flagship global conference attracts somewhere around 45,000 people. We've had as many as 45,000 people. I will say that's pre-COVID. We've had attendees from 90 different countries, which is fabulous. It's just absolutely fabulous. And we capture the sessions. We had 357 sessions at HIMSS 20. And although HIMSS 20 was not held in person, we pivoted to a digital format, so we were not able to deliver nearly the number of those sessions. But HIMSS 19, there's just as many sessions, if not more, and that content is available for consumption. And you'll see also you can earn credits. And then we also have something called HIMSS TV, which is, it's like broadcast journalism. So lots of interviews going on Some of our conferences are captured that way as well. So a lot of different ways for you to learn, and I'll share some more here in just a moment. Next slide. So the journey of where we have come, we've talked about, I've given you an update of my professional involvement. I've talked a little bit about, what I do at HIMSS as far as continuing professional development for 80,000 or so people. I shared some elements of HIMSS. We've talked about certifications, but I just want to share with you in my final slide the rationale for the certifications and education that I do have. I came to healthcare. I came to healthcare with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and a concentration in management. And I worked for the local hospital, Doylestown Hospital in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, in the United States. And I worked in the information technology department. And I was the equivalent of an applications analyst, which today is a title that does resonate. And I joined HIMSS. I grew up at HIMSS. I educated myself based on the conferences and things of that nature. But when I came to work for HIMSS, I found myself for 2 years at HIMSS. I've been with HIMSS over 14 years. 2 of those years, I served as a subject matter expert. And then I had an opportunity to move into education. So at this point, my entire career, I was a health information and technology professional. Now I needed the rigorous training that a master's in adult education provides. So I embarked on a graduate degree when I worked. My favorite story is submitting a paper that was due 1 December. I was on a United flight from somewhere to somewhere, 30,000 feet. I submitted a paper. I had an internet connection. I was able to do it. And that's one of my favorite stories. My CP HIMSS credential that I still maintain today demonstrates my competency in the health IT body of knowledge, as does my PMP. I also have a certification as a digital event strategist. And this signifies my advanced knowledge in planning and implementing digital events. And it also complemented my master's certificate from Penn State. So I aligned my graduate education so I could earn a certificate in distance education on my way to earning my master's in adult ed. I talked about the fellow of HIMSS. My FACHE signifies board certification, and then my CPTD eligible, because I haven't earned that yet, again, demonstrates my command of the talent body of knowledge. Next slide. And with this is my contact information. You'll see my hashtag that we use and developed at HIMSS, Professional Development for Life. That's what we're all about. So Prof Dev for Life, and we encourage you to do the same. I'm available on Twitter, LinkedIn. Please follow me. Here's my email contact information. You might be able to get me by telephone. I get so many calls of late that it's quite difficult at times, but there's many different ways to connect with me. Next slide, please.
Thank you, JoAnnn. I think at this point, it was your last slide, correct?
That's correct.
That was outstanding. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think now it's the time to ask our audience if they have any question. Really, when you were doing your presentation, just like this came to my mind that the best way to predict the future is to create it, actually. And what do you mention in terms of how you have crafted and also mapped out your education, professional development as a way to just like, all they have synergy with what you are doing, and also helping you to grow, and also helping also you in your career to basically become an effective leader, because consistently you're talking, your role is about professional development, and someone who has done this much around the professional development was really outstanding. It's just some of those professional association you mentioned, I am a member, and also I know even Alliance CSML, like let's say ATD is a partner of us actually, or PMI, Project Management Institute. So it's just like there are so many opportunities in addition to HIMSS also. So really outstanding. Thank you so much. I see that some people, they have asked questions. Let me see. That's what we have in Q&A.
Certainly. And while you're queuing the questions up, and once again, I love questions, so please ask. I found ways. I have children. My children are 27 and 25. So I was the Girl Scout mom, and we did project management. I did the school directory and used my skill sets in Excel and database management to create the phone directory. So this I know goes back many years, and they're not being done that way now, but I not only found ways in that my professional skill sets and talents, I was able even to contribute in a very local community-based way as well.
Yes, that's wonderful. And that actually comes with this question that Shanika is asking. How did you create work, home, professional life balance as an emerging business leader? So it's just like, I think to me was really outstanding when I was listening. I know in your role, you probably have a really busy schedule, but also still I'm saying that consistently, even you're adding a new certification, and it's not about it's about your commitment to lifelong learning, as you mentioned. So how do you create this balance, actually, work, home, professional life
balance? That's a great question. And I think really when my children were little, I mentioned I worked for Doylestown Hospital in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, US, and they had an on-site daycare center. So my children were with me when I went to work. I could visit them at lunch, and they would go home with me. And the daycare would bring the children through the hospital, and they would do rounds and all this kind of stuff. And it was just, that was really, really important. And my husband and I often talk that if that would not have been the case, if I would have had, and my commute was 7 minutes. I lived 7 minutes from where I worked to my home. That was really a major factor. And if I had a lengthy commute, and even, children and their activities. I mean, I was very involved with my children's activities as well. And that's because, healthcare is flexible for, to a certain degree, depending upon your position. But my work today, and it was very true then, it never ends. So if I want to take a couple hours off in the afternoon to participate in some family outing, I can do that. So it was really, it was tenacity, it was drive, and it was determination, and a very supportive family and a very supportive spouse. And, I think back, actually with my staff today, several of them have small children, and one of my folks, I told her, if you want to work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., if that's what fits your lifestyle, you do that, and I'm here to support you. So I've always had very, very accommodating managers and directors as well.
And you're doing the same also with your employees to help them
Yeah.
to, yes,
Yeah.
that's what matters. And I see like a couple of, Dr. Ned asked the same type of question: where did you get the time to master all of these credentials? So it seems, when you shared your story, is just like, to me also was the question, like, how did you get the time to just like, and also professionally grow that, which you quite a bit answered in terms of the support you have, and also tenacity, drive, and also determination. I think it's very important, actually. So I see another question. Do you recommend your members in getting involved in micro-learning program to help them gain certification while at work?
Great question. So much of what my department, professional development, does is centered around continuing continuing medical education. So that is education for nurses, for physicians, and then there's 11 total continuing professional development units that we track. So I'm sorry, I lost the question. Oh, can you repeat the question again?
Absolutely. Do you recommend your members in getting involved in micro-learning programs?
Oh, yes. And micro-learning are small chunks of information and moving very quickly. Because we offer CME and CNE, we do a lot of case studies and lectures and things of that nature. I will tell you, we are becoming more involved in distance learning and distance education. So you will see that we will do more of this. But the topics in healthcare are very, very technical. And typically our presentations could be 30 minutes. They could be 60 minutes, and we do like to break things up. So you will see more of that. And please forgive me for forgetting that question. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. It's just like, you probably, thank you for the answer. So you mentioned, you highlighted also like, in terms of the HIMSS PI membership that we have, and also that actually provides some opportunities for students, faculty to get involved with the HIMSS society in terms of the professional development. So, and you mentioned in terms of, those virtual career fair, even our students could get involved. So just tailored to that, what are the skills and, or software apps which are most popularly required by the employers today? So what do you recommend, like, in terms of like, the skills or like, that technological background or software or apps that, our students need to kind of like, get familiar with it? And also it's quite a bit, it just makes them more competitive in the job market as well.
Sure. I would say I'm very big on project management, because if one has that that foresight to be able to organize, to be able to be focused on tasks, you can go anywhere and you can really truly do anything. I would suggest coupling that with project management software. And it's when I was very active with project management, we used Microsoft Project. Very, very difficult. There are phenomenal tools out there. Jira is one, and actually I think I just saw you can try it for free. Rike is another. These are fabulous tools, and I just actually requested Rike myself, this project management tool, because I want to know its capabilities so that I can acquire it for my staff and encourage them to use it. So I think tools like that, and yes, the database tools, data analytics, and I know you have a master's program in data analytics. Anything with those tools, the Tableaus, the Spot, Click, IBM Watson, anything to do with analytics, fabulous, whether it's even an Excel spreadsheet. Really, really important.
Oh, I see that Shenika is asking, it is admirable to see you remain competent in your industry. Repeat the first project management tool, please. What was the first project management tool that you mentioned?
Microsoft Project, and I think it's still around. It was first introduced in the construction industry. And it was a very complex project. It was almost a project to learn to use project, but that software has come a very, very long way.
Well, thank you. So I think due to the time, I will wrap up with the final question and final comments from you. So, and my favorite topic is always about leadership. So I want to ask you, what is your personal leadership philosophy? And also, how do you lead in this uncertain and consistent changing time, specifically when it comes to your team?
My leadership philosophy is to always anticipate the best. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone next week, next month, or next year. And if you can have a positive attitude, one that's very proactive, and you can project enthusiasm, I believe that will carry you far, far, far in this industry that we're at. We're trying to plan for we are planning for the next conference in August 2021 in Las Vegas. So we're not too far away from your school, but we just don't know what that means. So we are doing the best that we know how. We are pivoting. We are taking a look at what we've done, how we've done it. And oh, by the way, the SWOT tool, I didn't even mention the SWOT tool. So in addition to those tools in your toolkit, the change management methodology, SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Wonderful tool, and that will serve you well. So learn more about that methodology.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's, to me, always it's just like, change is inevitable, as you mentioned, it's happening, but progress is optional. And your story, especially listening to your personal, leadership development journey, is that you have made that decision of just continuing progress by being a lifelong learner. I think that's it never stop learning, and it's just it shows the value of the professional development and also being the lifelong learner. So if you have any final comments, I would wrap up the session with just couple announcement and final notes. Any final comments?
I want to personally thank both you, Dr. Kumar and Dr. Naderi, for once again, your support of HIMSS, for inviting me here to speak. This has been, it's been a pleasure for me to present and really reflect upon what I've done and share that with others. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. We want to say thank you, thanks to you and also HIMSS team, because I was talking to my colleagues and Dr. Kumar also. It's just like, it's been such a pleasure to partner with HIMSS and your team globally. I have contact with your team members in Europe as well as also in the US. It's just like, it's such a pleasure to partner with HIMSS, and we look forward to collaborating further with HIMSS in different levels, and specifically the opportunities that opens to our students, that they could get involved with with HIMSS, and also to the networking opportunities, those learning opportunities, and many other possibilities, as you highlighted in your talk. Thank you so much. And I just want to share a couple of announcements before I wrap up this session. Thank you, JoAnnn, for joining.
Welcome.
And here is just a couple of announcements for just wanted to have a couple of announcements. Is that if you enjoyed this session like me, we are continuing with our monthly CSML speaker series. So please mark your calendar for November 4th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we will announce the speaker also very soon. So we hope that we see you there. And also for those of you who are interested about whether our programs or partnership opportunities with your organization, I have added also my contact information. So please feel free to reach out to me. We also have a open house and some other webinars and events at Alliance, educational events that you could join. So please visit our webpage, events.alliant.edu, because you will find so many opportunities like this webinar that it's just complimentary and available to public. So we hope that you could take advantage of this learning opportunities, and also this creating having this space together to learn together from the experts. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who joined today. We look forward to seeing you in our next webinar on November 4th. And I want to say thank you to JoAnnn and his team for helping us with this webinar, and also to JoAnnn especially for sharing her expertise and deep knowledge and wisdom with us. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, JoAnnn. That was excellent. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.